Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm about to feed my bearded dragon something different. I have a friend who raises, well, she doesn't really raise them, she just happens to have a hell of a lot of them, walking sticks. If you saw Lord of the Rings and you know, or you saw The Hobbit, you know what walking sticks are. My little guy has never had walking sticks before. We're going to put a bunch of them in his cage and see what he does. There's going to be a lot of them too. Oh, she's got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these little guys. And she needs to do some population control, so she said, here, take the whole tank. I'm just cleaning the ones off the lid for right now. Okay, that's probably good enough. They're really small. They don't have as much, they're not as big as crickets, so probably a lot of them. Oh gosh, there's some on the outside. Better show what he's doing. They're all over inside his cage. Now all these guys are just what I thought, because she gave me the tank. I could keep they basically keep laying eggs and reproducing. And it might save me a fortune on crickets, which cost 10 cents each. They're all frozen. They're not moving. So he doesn't see them. You can see him hanging from, see that right there? That's two of them right there, hanging from that. That's what they look like. They're very young. If they were allowed to get big, they'd look like the little critter that what's-his-face took out of his mouth in The Hobbit. He is like tripled in size since I got him. I haven't figured out a name for him yet. There's some more of them. See, they're just frozen. They're not doing anything, so he doesn't see them. It's like, this is totally destroying what I wanted to do. I wanted to film the little dragon running around his cage, chowing down. Gosh, and they're all over the bottom of his cage. Well, I'm going to turn this off and see what happens if he comes back to life in a minute or two, or if he's going to be sitting like this for a while. Okay, we just put a whole bunch of little walking stick bugs in my bearded dragon's cage. Or enclosure, I guess you could call it. And, oops, sorry, I'm trying to adjust here. He's not used to this prey. They sit absolutely still. Unlike crickets that run away, these guys make like sticks. That's why they're called walking sticks. They see there's one right by him, hanging there. That's one right there. There's another one on the branch up there. And they make themselves look like sticks. And unless they move, he's not going to realize that they're bugs. There's a whole bunch of them on the floor of his cage, of the enclosure too, and they're just all totally motionless. I think they know that there's somebody, that their little lives are in danger. Danger, danger, Will Robinson. I actually thought about putting the lizard in the tank that has all the bugs. Once he figures out what they're up to, and once he figures out how to recognize the bugs, I think he'll be a lot more adept at catching them, because they don't exactly run away. But he's never had these before. All he's had is crickets and giant mealworms, and he's used to them. He's not used to these guys. I'm going to have to do this again in a couple days when he's used to eating these bugs. I suspect it'll be a completely different story once he learns how to distinguish them from sticks, because right now they're doing such a good job of pretending to not be alive, and he's never dealt with these bugs before, so he doesn't know. Didn't mean to zoom back quite so quick. Just going to point out there's some on this stick too. There's actually a couple, I think, right there. There's one hanging there right out of his peripheral vision. If it would just twitch a little bit, he would figure it out. Oh, I see one by his leg that's moving. The one that's highest. There's one right underneath his leg, and it's moving. He sees it's moving too. He just saw it. You're done. They're good little hunters. It's fun to watch them. They look like little dogs. All they have to do is just twitch, and he picks up on it. There's those two that are right next to his head. Right to the right against that little branchy thing. It must have moved. Well, I was wrong. I told Angeliki that all the bugs would be gone in a matter of seconds, and I do think that's how it will be in a few days. Once this little guy knows how to recognize what they look like. Well, my arm is getting tired. It's taking too long. I think I'm gonna cut it off. I got him catching one bug, and then I also had another video I did before this one, so that should be enough for the first one. Okay, it's the next day, and he's getting quite good at figuring out how to recognize these little bugs that are in his cage, the walking sticks. I put a bunch of them in there, and they just kind of ran in every direction, and he wasn't quite really ready up. He wasn't quite up to eating yet, but now he's figuring out that this is dinner and that he's required to do some work, so, and he's learning to recognize them even when they're sitting still. Love how he manages to balance himself precariously on that skinny little thing. Look at his back legs. It's pretty funny. This guy has grown so much in a short time. It's really amazing. Pretty quick he's going to be too big for this little enclosure. And then I'm going to have to move Rocky out of one that she's in upstairs. And she's going to become a free roaming lizard in my bird room. And this one will live in Rocky's enclosure. And eventually, Gizmo will be too big for her cage. She'll also become a free roaming lizard. And then hopefully by that time, the Tago, Colombian Tago, sorry for all the movement, I'm sitting on the floor. And you know what's funny is like the moment I whip out the camera, she's like, oh, I'm not going to perform. Sorry, I'm not that kind of a lizard. So, okay, we'll turn it off. I missed, she went after like 5 in a row and I missed it. Then I'm like, oh, she's actually hunting. I'm going to get the camera out. And then she stops. Okay.